Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Slamhub Wrestling. Myself, Suprit, and this is your WWE Elimination Chamber 2022 review, and I'm joined by Spandan here. So, what did you think about this PPL? Sorry, PPV. What do you call it? The Premier Live Event?
Yeah, it's PLE now.
Oh, it's
So
PLE.
yeah, last stop on the road to WrestleMania, and got to say it had its ups and downs, more downs than ups. So pretty disappointed with the pay-per-view, pretty disappointed. Oh, sorry, premium live event, and pretty disappointed with some of the decisions as well. Not just winners, but in-match decisions as well. So it's going to be an interesting review because bad stuff is equal to more talking. So let's just talk about the entire show now.
And like, what did you expect going into the show? Like, this is something to look forward to. For me, it was just the men's elimination chamber, seeing the lineup, and was little hopeful that it was going to be a banger of a match. But overall, this show was a mess, boring top to bottom, nothing to look forward to. The road to WrestleMania at this point is little messy, and yeah, man, WWE failed another pay per view back to back. Royal Rumble was a underwhelming, show. They couldn't follow up with this one, and WrestleMania is the only hope. And I think there is a chance they can mess that up too, in my honest opinion.
Yeah, true. Because okay, so answering your first question, what were you looking forward to? So I was looking forward to Becky and Lita the most because after Rumble, after a couple of twist of fates and all of that, we knew Lita can still go. So I was looking forward to that match, and plus I wasn't looking forward to the men's chamber match because it was literally Lashley versus Lesnar and four filler guys. Like there was no importance of the other guys; they were just there to fill the pods or start the match or whatever it is. Did you just see the segment on Raw when all six guys came and claimed why they need to win the match? The moment Lesnar took out Austin Theory, Styles left the ring, Rollins left the ring, Riddle jumped out of the ring. These are wrestlers. Why do they look fearful of a guy? They were just not important. It was Lesnar's moment. It was like, hey, Brock is a star. These four guys are just there to take the pins. They're not obviously going to win. So I was not looking forward to much on the show. Like I said, Becky and Lita, I was looking forward to, and Roman and Goldberg because I knew Goldberg after the Crown Jewel performance, maybe he can still hang in, and he kind of did. So that's the only stuff that I was looking forward to.
Hey,
And I was looking forward to the tag title match, which didn't even happen.
hey, what did you expect? Someone to talk against Brock Lesnar?
Dude, these guys are wrestlers. The AJ Styles, Rollins has defeated Brock whenever he's faced him. Why is
Hey,
he running out?
yeah, Lesnar is going to do what he wants.
And these guys are going to listen to him.
Yeah, the only guy who can speak up to him is Matt Riddle.
I was looking forward to a Riddle Lesnar confrontation, but nothing happened. God, it was such a boring show. We just started talking, and it's literally like, why do I have to talk about this show?
Well, there was, the funny thing is, WWE pay per views are actually solid. They put more effort into their pay per views. Consider, if you compare them to their usual TV shows, because those are shit. At least they put in some effort in their premium live events. But the last two one are absolute shit. And at this point, your expectations for WrestleMania, you should lower your bar, in my honest opinion.
Absolutely. I don't think WrestleMania is going to be a great show. I think it's 100,000 people. Yes, I agree. But we're hearing rumors of Stone Cold returning. We're hearing rumors of Logan Paul returning. Maybe Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn. I don't know. So just don't expect anything. Expect disappointment, and you won't be disappointed, said MJ. So just don't expect anything out of WWE at this point. Weekly shows suck at another level. People have stopped watching it. Me, who I thought I would never miss an episode of Raw or SmackDown at a point of time, I'm just looking at the results on Instagram. I just don't watch it live. I only watch the premium live events. And see, the standard you just said, look at day one. Day one was such a great show. Top to bottom, every
Yeah.
single match delivered.
Holy shit! I
Just
almost,
see that.
sorry to interrupt this, but I almost forgot about day one even existing.
Yeah, because Rumble, we have that in mind that it's the first show. So day one, that was such a good show, great show. And Rumble had its ups and downs. You had some cool moments. Like, see, that is WWE. At a show like Elimination Chamber, we did have good stuff, but not very good stuff. And then you have these massive downs, like that women's tag team match. Why was it there? Just because we could have a Ronda entrance. Just because Ronda has star power, she was there. There was no use of that match. It's just random bullshit on a show because of draws, which is not needed.
And uh, by the way, I think the elimination chamber concept is another thing that WWE has slowly killed. Like that was one thing. If you want to do gimmick pay-per-view, that was something you can do every, in the yearly pay-per-view concept. But even that is something that they are, the quality is dipping. And this year's was absolute shit.
Like I was watching the chamber match and it felt like every 2 minutes the pod was opening. This isn't the Rumble. At least earlier, I think at some point of time it was 10 minutes. Now then it became 5 minutes. Now I don't know what time it was. They didn't tell us. They said regular intervals. Otherwise, in their rules, when they announce it, they always say every 10 minutes or every 5 minutes. They said regular intervals because obviously they'll see backstage at what time the momentum is dipping and then they'll start the timer. So they didn't have any regular interval. Plus, the chamber concept. See, most of the people that I have talked to about the gimmick pay-per-views or elimination chamber, specifically the chamber, I like to see a number one contender chamber for someone earning their spot and going to WrestleMania, not the champion defending in it. That doesn't feel good to me. So, like you win the Rumble, that's a big match, 30 people, oh, outlast all and all of that, and then you earn a match. Chamber, you go through this grueling concept and then earn a match. A champion defending, I never find that interesting because most of the times it's very unlikely that a champion loses the title on the road to WrestleMania. Unlike this time, because just after Roman got COVID, everything has shifted. Like it's become so messy. I am imagining a situation if he didn't catch COVID, everything would be smooth right now. We did get some chaos with that Brock winning WWE title and all of that. It was fun, but now it's just getting chaotic. It's not fun anymore. Like even for someone like me who loves both Brock and Roman, I don't want to see that match again. They've now made it title versus title, predictable at another level. But there is a slight chance that Lashley is going to be added to that match to be made a triple threat because he was taken out. So yeah, chamber concept, do more number one contenders because I like the women's match for that reason more.
Yeah, we will get to that. But before we head towards the review, WrestleMania season this year is nothing but Brock, and just Brock.
It's getting boring to be honest. I love Brock, I love Roman, but this concept of Brock and Roman because they're the only two big stars that WWE has got at this point. Like, what is this WrestleMania card already? It's Becky and Bianca. Okay, I'm excited for that. I like both of them. Ronda, Charlotte. It's like boring at another level. Dude, are you looking forward to Ronda and Charlotte? We know the match will be good, but I don't even trust the match will be good anymore with what's happening with Charlotte. But
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to anything now. Brock and I'm just looking forward to Roman's entrance because I'm a mark for Roman. But that's not a good thing. You'll not find more people like me who just tune in for an entrance or some spots. You need to cater to everyone, and you're not because this is your biggest show, and you're just. Can you imagine Stone Cold, Logan Paul, and Johnny Knoxville? These are your championship matches contenders. Are you crazy? It's just stupid shit they're booking right now.
Yeah.
Nothing makes sense.
Whose fault is that?
Vince McMahon,
And
BP.
yeah, he is the, you could say, snake in this
Deville.
situation. But that's what you get when you don't build up new stars. They try, but they fuck it up eventually. But let's don't waste any time. Let's get into the review. But before that, if you're new to Slamhub Wrestling, then make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and do all that stuff. Check out our other content is provided in the description below. So, Elimination Chamber 2022, they did this show in Saudi Arabia, Jeddah, in the Superdome, they say. And I don't know if do you know whether these fans are paid fans or they're planted fans?
They're not paid or planted. They're like super crazy about stuff because you see, I'm not saying it's related to India, but it's the Middle East and Indian fans who are absolutely crazy for WWE, and you could see that in their fanhood. If you take these guys to AW, they'll probably not know anyone except the ex-WWE guys. So they're just very passionate about this, and there are a lot of kids. You can hear a lot of kids screaming in the front row because their mom and dad paid money to sit in the front row, and they just go absolute bonkers for everyone. So that is one fact you can like about Saudi. And I think Crown Jewel was a hit and trial method, and they just hit a home run by mistake, because Saudi shows absolutely suck, and it proved this time as well, because this was the true definition of Saudi. Bring stars for no reason. I don't know why Ronda was there, because draw power. There was no reason for that match. And that is Saudi. Last time, I was like, where is the stupidity? Where is the Tuwek Mountain Trophy? Where is the best in the world? They're not doing anything bad. It's just proper matches. And that's why the show was great. But now they bring in this, Goldberg match. They bring in Ronda Rousey, stupid stuff. Yeah, let's just continue.
So let's talk about. I think did you watch the kickoff match between Rey Mysterio and the Miz?
I was lucky to watch it, yes.
And surprisingly, this match was better than most of the match on the actual card. But even that is little far fetched. So I think there is something going on between Mysterio and the Miz. I think they have been feuding for a couple of weeks, where Miz is pulling off some cheap tactics to get victories over the Mysterios. And talking about the match, nothing much. Mysterio looked great here, and the crowd was super into Mysterio here. So Dominic was there ringside, and Miz tried to pull off some, you could say, escapes and cheap ways to get out of this match, maybe get a DQ victory. But Dominic, who was in the outside, was making sure nothing happened again. So as we get to the final part, there was a spot where Miz did this cheap way of getting out of this match, where he acted like, I don't know what happened. Was Dominic actually hit Miz, and there was something going on where Miz acted like Dominic, so Dominic hit him. So the referee was in a, could say, doubt or not whether he is acting or not. He was about to call for the bell, maybe kick Dominic out of the equation, and I think he actually did. So as this going on, Rey Mysterio was distracted. Miz came in, was going for the skull crushing finale, but Mysterio countered into a roll up pin and seals the victory. There you go. And I think there was a post match thing where both Dominic and Rey did a 2-on-1 beatdown on Miz, did a double 619 with a couple of splash, and there you go.
Yeah, you explained everything. I think it was a good match, great match. It lived up to the little hype it had. It's a decent storyline that Dominic is there because of his father, and Miz, obviously he calls himself the A-lister. He wants the spotlight, and this entire thing was based around the fact that Rey Mysterio was on the cover of 2K22. Miz wanted to be that, so obviously he wants the spotlight, and you covered up pretty much everything. There was one spot that I really liked. So there was Ray who did a sunset flip. So he flipped out and then miscountered into a DDT. So that was a smooth transition. One thing I wanted to say. Other than that, I think it was a great match, great filler match for the kickoff, and they did the beatdown for the later promo that came. And we can talk about it right now because it was related.
Yeah, let's talk
So
about it.
Miz, hmm. Miz did a promo saying that they did a 2-on-1 beatdown. They had the numbers game, so I need some backup. He did not say friend, which is why I don't think this is Cody, as people are expecting it to be.
Shit.
So, yeah, he said, I'll find a tag team partner, a partner who's superlatively talented. He's handsome, charming, and all of that, and a global superstar, which proves this is Logan Paul. And that's going to be the match at WrestleMania. I don't know what the hell Miz is doing. Last year, Miz and Morrison versus Priest and Bad Bunny. This year, Miz and Logan Paul versus Mysterios. It's just stupid stuff. But again, why do you need global stars? Why do you need a Logan Paul at WrestleMania? He could do the same thing he did last year. Come and sit at ringside, take a stunner from KO, which Cell was amazing, and then just leave. He doesn't need to be in a match. Oof, it's just stupid. So yeah, it's going to be Miz and Logan Paul versus the Mysterios at Mania, man.
Bro, this is Nick Khan's strategy, man. Appeal to the masses, appeal to the mainstream media.
And he's doing some decent moves, like the January 1st or day one. He's thinking of doing that every year, which is a good thing because holidays, people just leave their states at that time. They can enjoy a show and go. Good idea. He's also sitting at every show at front row. People still don't notice that. And he's doing some good decisions. He really wants to bring in Cody Rhodes to WWE, and that is going to happen eventually, I think. But some of his stuff, like paying these guys so much and bringing them out for one or two matches. Logan Paul, unnecessary at WrestleMania. Johnny Knoxville, unnecessary at WrestleMania. Stone Cold, 57 years old. He doesn't need to come back. Please don't do the Michaels treatment with him. So I'm not like, I feel so bad that WrestleMania is such a good time for all of us, and it's just not something we are looking forward to. They'll pick it up slowly, I think, but it's only 42 days, and they have 6 weeks to build up. And I know that everyone thinks WWE can do storylines. They can't. I don't know how they're going to pull off 6 weeks of story for every match.
Hey, another side note, watching this show live late night is something to get through, huh?
You found it tiring.
Uh, I think I was happy that my live feed didn't cut off, thankfully.
Okay, yeah, that's an issue with you. But I
Yeah.
think Saudi shows are an advantage to us Indians because it's nighttime, and that's every show for the US fans. It's 8 p.m. prime time to enjoy a show, but we
and
have to wake up at freaking 5 a.m.
and they get it in a afternoon timing. Basically, they watch
Yeah,
a
I think
matinee
it
show.
was yeah, it was 12 noon for them, so they were enjoying it in afternoon. Pretty weird. Do you remember during 2012, 2013, we used to get shows at 11 a.m.? It was taped, obviously, we didn't get it live, but it was at 11 a.m.
I think we didn't get live shows until 2015, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. We used to get 11 a.m. shows, and that was such a joy. You could wake up, you could wake up easily at 9 or 10, get ready, watch at 11. That was so much fun. Early years of me watching wrestling.
I was more of a 5 p.m. guy. That was my go-to watch and plug in 10 sports. That's it.
Yeah, they used to have WWE Battleground and Bottom Line Experience, all those shows.
Yeah, those were the days, man. Those were the days. I remember they did a Australian show in 3 4 years
Super
ago.
Showdown.
Yeah, that came. I think that was noonish for us because it was Australian time.
I don't remember at what time that was.
But other than that, nothing much to say. Let's get down to the main card. And yeah, another thing I forgot, man. Did you hear the theme for this pay per view?
Yeah, some guy in WWE just going on TikTok and Instagram reels and saying, "This is a good song, pay-per-view."
Yeah, Nick. That's what I said. Nick Khan, man, appealing to the mainstream media.
And the Weekend has probably taken a 4 or 5 year deal of giving WrestleMania theme songs. It's the third straight year he's giving the WrestleMania theme.
Weekend is actually good. It's not
Yeah, he's good,
cringe.
but
Yeah.
it doesn't need to be every year because WrestleMania theme songs are actually iconic every year. You get to listen new songs, so you could have had something different maybe.
But anyways, man, main card kicks off with the Universal Championship match. This is Roman Reigns versus Goldberg. They did a little package talking about, it's the same old, reminding us for the
But good
6,000,
video package, I think.
yeah, reminding us for the 6,282 times that Goldberg was an undefeated guy in WCW, became world champion over there, came back to WWE. That run didn't go anywhere. The initial one came back to 2016, beat Brock Lesnar, won a couple of championships, and there you go. This match was supposed to happen between Reigns and Goldberg at WrestleMania 2 years ago before the pandemic hit, and that didn't happen. So now we are finally getting it. That was the entire package, and of course Roman Reigns is what what is his title number? We are in the
His
500 mark, right?
so last week on SmackDown, Cole said 536, I think. So it should be 537. 537 and 538 days.
So he's the modern day longest running modern day world champion right
Yeah, he's been the longest reigning champion since 35 years now.
now. If you include Walter, then that doesn't stand.
Yeah, but WWE doesn't count NXT or NXT UK.
Yeah,
Come
because
on.
NXT is dead.
Did
But
you watch Vengeance Day? It was a good show.
no, no man, I have better things to do than watch 2.0. I'm really sorry, man.
Okay, I'll just recommend two matches. You can watch Carmelo Hayes versus Cameron Grimes. That was a terrific match. And Breaker versus Escobar. That was also a good match.
I don't watch NXT 2.0, but I can say that Braun Breaker, stands out, and Carmelo Hayes is someone that is, being praised a lot. Cameron Grimes is the legend, dating back to Black and Gold NXT, and I think Cora Jade is someone. I think she's good. I guess she can get better, but nonetheless, man, let's hope those guys at least get some shine, or if not, then Vince should retire for good.
At the least, they don't get fired.
Let's see, man. Let's see if Braun Breaker succeeds or not. But we have Roman Reigns here versus Goldberg, and this was your typical Goldberg match, but even worse. But it was hard to get through, and this went about 6 minutes. Goldberg showed up without no gloves, looked very awkward, in my honest opinion. So nothing match here. So what happened was first off they went face to face, and I think
For a long time.
yeah they did, and we see a lockup, and when we see the lockup breaking up, they started running the ropes. I think it was Reigns, and Goldberg caught him with the first spear. Goldberg was looking for the what do you call it, the jackhammer. Roman escapes, so Roman started to get some offense in as they went far to the outside and hit a Superman punch. And what happened was Roman was going for his own spear, but Goldberg hit a second spear of his own, was going for the jackhammer again. Reigns escape again and locks in the guillotine. He hold in the submission for a while, and I don't know if he tapped out or he passed out, but there you go. Referee calls for the bell. Reigns retains. Thank God. I thought there was a certain chance that they put the belt on Goldberg, and I would have loved it for only fact to see Twitter burn to the ground.
Okay. So overall thoughts on this match, I think it exceeded expectations, but the bar was already very low. So not really great. But a couple of things I want you to notice in this match for people watching. Uh, there was good story there because Roman Reigns didn't hit even one spear in this match. So that was more, importance to Goldberg's move sets because we all know Goldberg doesn't have a lot of moves in his set, in his arsenal. So they had to be protected. So Roman didn't hit a spear. Goldberg sold a Superman punch really well. He jumped in the air, he sold that move well, and he just doesn't know how to wrestle. So before the match began, three of us were watching. Dhruv, Savraj, and me. We were watching on a live. We were on a live stream. So Savraj asked, predict how long the match will go. So he said 3:33. Dhruv said 6:36. I said 5:36. So it was 6 minutes, the closest. But yeah, a couple of things I wanted you to notice. I already claimed them. And this was the first time I was scared that Roman would lose the title since Crown Jewel against Brock. These are the only two times. Crown Jewel against Brock, WrestleMania 37 against Edge and Bryan, because there were heavy rumors that Edge is going to win the title. Other than that, I've not been scared, but Goldberg, Saudi, need I say more?
Yeah, he already killed the Fiend over there, and there was a chance he would have killed your tribal chief. Imagine that.
Yeah,
He
yeah, and I
decided,
already said, I
yeah.
tweeted, if Goldberg wins, I said at WWE, if Goldberg wins, I stop watching your product today. So they probably heard me and they did make him win.
So, yeah, man, was this his last match on the contract?
Yes, his contract is up, and he has even hinted that he will retire now. If he does retire, then thank you, Goldberg, because you did some great stuff. You almost killed Undertaker, you buried the Fiend, and all of that. But still, great career. You leave on a high note, and he didn't tap out because obviously he's a Hall of Famer icon. He passed out. He didn't tap out. They didn't need to protect him, but obviously he won't tap. There are a couple of people who won't tap. Reigns, Cena, Taker, all these guys won't tap.
Yeah.
So yeah, if this was his last match, then great. Final goodbye to you. But if it was not, then please don't come back.
I think I shouldn't be adding more on that. You said everything about what I also have same feelings regarding Goldberg. I loved you in 2016, and after that, you were a complete shit, and you proved that when you buried the Fiend. There you go.
Yeah.
And in my honest opinion, you shouldn't be coming back, man. You made your money.
Yeah, I think this is a really good note to leave. Just look at his last two matches. His match against Lashley at Crown Jewel, that was decent to Goldberg standards. This match, this was a decent one. It's not as bad as his previous matches, not even close. So this is a really good note to leave. And the reason Eric Bischoff actually said this on an interview a year or back ago. So he said the question was, why are Sting and Goldberg different? Sting is 62, he's doing the same things. Goldberg is 55, doing the same thing, two different companies. It's just simple stuff. Goldberg is coming out, demanding matches, getting them. Sting, on the other hand, has not demanded even one world title match. He's doing his fun stuff with Darby and other things. Excuse me. But Goldberg, on the other hand, he's just coming out, asking for title matches, getting them, and most of the times winning over younger guys. So that was the problem. But as I said, if this was his last match, wonderful job. If not, then don't even take a 2 year deal, take a one match per year. And to be honest, don't take a deal right now. You're not in a state to wrestle anymore, and let alone say the word wrestle, because you can't. So I think this is a very good note, honestly, for Goldberg to leave, to retire finally. He's a Hall of Famer already.
Um, Up next, we had the Women's Elimination Chamber. This is for crowning a number one contender who will be, having a match for the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania. So we have Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, Nikki Ash, Bianca Belair, Piper Niven, who I shall not call Doudrop, and Alexa Bliss. So Alexa Bliss was in a therapy session, right?
Yeah, she has been in therapy session since 3 4 weeks. And the thing to notice is that slowly and gradually, every week, her clothes are slowly becoming to normal Alexa Bliss. She started the therapy sessions totally with the eyelashes and black stuff and all of that. But recently, she's come out to jacket and, a skirt and all of that. She's slowly transitioning into Goddess Alexa Bliss. I think that's going to be at WrestleMania final.
If it doesn't, then this therapy session was a waste of time. I think you should have hired a proper therapist and not
Dr.
a.
Shelby,
Yeah, Dr. Shelby is goated, man.
he's the best.
But another thing that I want to point out, great on WWE to have this woman show up in actual ring gear
Oh
in
my god, the gears were amazing. Absolutely dope.
and I think I like that they came out in actual gear with some limitations. Of course, you're in Saudi, but great stuff was that they got rid of those four extra shirts.
Yeah, they didn't do the t-shirts. I think that was a specific material that all of the ladies had. They were wearing the same material outfit, but each of them had their own character. Liv Morgan wearing the red stuff. Ripley's outfit was incredible. That looked awesome. She looked like Diesel. So that was amazing. Nikki ASH obviously wears the cape and the thing. She just went to full sleeves, simple. Alexa Bliss was already wearing full. Bianca's general outfit is already full, so they did great on that. Doudrop's outfit looked great, the blue and black, and it's great that they didn't have to do t-shirts. It was amazing job by the WWE.
Another thing to point out, so we have six women here, right? Only two women here have the best theme song from this group, that is Bianca and Rhea Ripley. Go figure why.
Hmm.
So this was, you could say, I think someone said this is the shortest elimination chamber match ever. Went about 15 minutes, and this didn't even feel like it was an elimination chamber.
Yeah, they didn't do a lot of spots. They didn't do much stuff. And as I said just some moments earlier, that I don't know how much the time was for each pod. Maybe if I go back and watch and count very carefully, then we'll know. But I don't think it was more than 3 4 minutes. They were
Hmm?
opening the pods really quickly, and that's why 15 minutes. There was a time when it took 10 minutes for a pod to open, and we just got over in 15 minutes. So not a very exciting match, yes, but couple of great spots. There was a spot where Alexa Bliss was holding Ripley for a DDT. Bianca went to the ropes, came back and hit a drop kick into the DDT. Brilliant spot. And they also did a couple of great KODs. The Liv Morgan sunset flip bomb to Doudrop to eliminate Doudrop. That was great. So a couple of good spots, but yeah, not a very interesting match and highly predictable as well. We knew Bianca was winning.
Did you notice? So usually in a chamber match, you make your entrances like in order. The first four people should be heading to the pods, right? But this time,
Yeah.
even for the men's, there was a thing that they did. When the fourth entrant doesn't enter the pod, they wait for the final entrant, and the
Hmm.
final entrant is the one who enters the pod while they are the ones that are starting the match. Very weird.
No, I mean, as the ones who are starting the match are not very big stars, like you saw, Nikki ASH and Liv Morgan started the chamber. So neither of them could have been the last entrant because that's a big spot to take, and that was Alexa Bliss. As for the men's match, you can't have Austin Theory be the last entrance in a chamber match. That has to be Lesnar. So that's why maybe they did it.
So it is Nikki and Liv Morgan who started this match. By the way, Alexa Bliss was in her pod in a swing. So there you go. So, like you said, there was not actually a strict timing. Like I thought it was going to be 5 minute intervals, but they were really opening up randomly each the every pods, every new entry. So number three was Doudrop, and I think we were getting some eliminations in the middle. Like you just pointed out, Liv Morgan eliminated Doudrop with a sunset bomb that actually looked good. And I don't know who got rid of Nikki. I think it was Rhea Ripley, and I think she was the first one to be get eliminated. Then
I just
Alexa.
got scared at the Doudrop elimination. Every time there's a sunset flip bomb from the corner,
Mhm.
you just get reminiscent of that Rollins incident every time. I just get scared of that. And plus, Doudrop is really heavy and Liv is very light. So, just scary, but they do it in a right way. So, kudos.
So Alexa Bliss was the final entry, or was it Bianca Belair?
Yeah, Alexa was second last, then it was Bianca.
So they came in, and we see more eliminations. I think Alexa Bliss got rid of Liv Morgan with a twisted bliss. So Liv Morgan is out, and I think the final ladies here were Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair and Alexa, if I'm not wrong, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
So we see a good sequence of wrestling from Rhea and Bianca, which is good to see. And I think it was a little assist from Alexa Bliss, and Bianca would hit the KOD on Rhea to get her eliminated. So final two were Alexa and Rhea Ripley. So they tried to have a decent back and forth, and there was a small part that told me that yeah, Alexa could be getting the win, but to no prevail, Bianca hits another KOD on Alexa, and there you go. Alexa wins the women's chamber, gets a Raw championship match at.
Bianca wins.
Did I mess something up?
Yeah, you said Alexa wins. Sorry.
Yeah, it was Bianca getting the victory. She is getting a Raw women's championship match at WrestleMania. Kind of predictable, but at this point, good outcome. And there you go, man. Another spot was when Rhea and Bianca were going for simultaneous delayed suplexes.
Suplexes.
And the funny part was Rhea was suplexing Alexa here, and the skirt was actually blinding her, which was funny to watch. But other than that, it was fine for what it was. Didn't feel like an elimination chamber match to me. Bianca gets a title shot, and nothing much.
Yeah, but it is kind of a culmination of a story from SummerSlam, the 26-second loss of Bianca to Becky, to now the biggest show, WrestleMania, Becky versus Bianca. It'll be a good match. They've only faced off properly twice, not counting the SummerSlam match. One was the non-extreme rules, and the other was a SmackDown episode, but both ended in DQs. So it's okay. We can have. It's still a fresh match. It feels like we've seen it enough because they were in a triple threat as well, multi-man matches, multi-woman matches. So it feels repetitive, but it's not. I'm excited for this match, but not that much because it's just Bianca's predictable win. Becky's always said in interviews that I want to drop it to a made star. Bianca is obviously made, but now they're fully pushing behind Bianca. Bianca is the next big woman star after the four horsewomen and Ronda for some moment. So it's just been moment after moment for Bianca Belair. Rumble win, WrestleMania main event win, then Soul Survivor, now Chamber win, probably WrestleMania again. She's just going on and on and on, and it's good, but not very excited about the match. Still very predictable.
Yeah, at least they built someone after the four horsewomen.
Yeah, not every, what is it called, to the main roster, call up to the main roster has sucked. Most of them have sucked, but Matt Riddle, Damien Priest, Austin Theory for now, and Bianca Belair. These four have been booked really well, really strong, and Bianca the best. If you remove the 26-second loss, she's done everything right in her reign. And John Cena said to her actually backstage after the SummerSlam loss that do you see the tweets and the Instagram posts about you? That is how much people care about you, and that's true. She had gained fandom. People do love her, so that is a good thing. She's a proper baby face, and I think she'll grow and progress a lot in this 6-week proper feud with Becky Lynch. I'm really looking forward to that.
And by the way, Rhea Ripley was on the same path, but they fucked her up long back before she even got to the main roster.
Her last good match, I think, was Money in the Bank against Charlotte. That was a banger of a match, close to match of the year contender. So that was a really good match, but then they dropped the ball. She was nowhere. Feud with Nikki ASH, women's tag titles. Bleh.
But moving on, we had Charlotte Flair and Sonya
Now
Deville
the bullshit begins.
versus Naomi and Ronda Rousey. Ronda actually came out to her judo attire, which was good to see. This was actually dope. And the story going into this was Ronda Rousey would have one arm tied behind her back, and this came from Sonya Deville because her arm is in a
A
sling
bitch.
at this moment. We thought, and going into this, you would think why does Sonya Deville want this match? Why does Sonya Deville want to be in this match when her arm is broken supposedly? But we would learn that this was all a ruse. Her arm is completely fine, as she, would get rid of that sling in the initial moments. So Ronda Rousey is, wrestling with one arm tied behind her back, and she tried her best, and that was the entire story revolving around Ronda. And for a while, they had Ronda Rousey, as the heels were working on her until Naomi was used for a big comeback tag. She had some good spots, and at the end, we would see Ronda locking in the armbar on Sonya to get the win, and there you go. There was some story, but it was just a match. There nothing much to add. Anything you want to say?
Yeah, I think I had a couple of notes for this point, but since I'm on my phone right now, I can't look at the notes. I'll just tell you what I remember. Why is Ronda wearing this outfit? What is the point of this match? What has happened to Charlotte, the wrestler? Why does Sonya Deville hate Naomi so much? I don't care. These were my 5 pointers. And the main one I want you to focus on is what has happened to the wrestler Charlotte Flair. Like, what the hell has happened? At a point of time, she was objectively, not even opinion based, objectively the best wrestler on the roster. The best. And she can still deliver matches. Her
If
last good match was
if
Becky.
she is motivated, that's my go-to line every time.
Yeah. Uh, Naomi on SmackDown. Charlotte Naomi, that was a tremendous match on SmackDown. And then Becky at Survivor Series. You're such a good wrestler. Your work rate right now is 2 matches per 4 months. That is not acceptable. Every time you step into the ring, if you're Charlotte Flair, we expect good stuff. Look at Becky. Every time she's after her return, she's entered the ring, she's delivered a good match. Starting from Extreme Rules, where she faced Bianca, even that was a great match. When we two were talking, you said that the in-ring stuff was really good, and she's improved a lot. But Charlotte is just not caring enough. Did you look at that, video of Ronda smashing Charlotte's head on the table during the contract signing? She's
I
not
actually
selling any.
I actually saw that clip a while back on Twitter. By the way, I don't know what they did, what type of magic they did to hide it on SmackDown.
Yeah, they edited it. So Ronda just pulled Charlotte, and Charlotte isn't selling anything. Just compare the two cells of the Twist of Fate by Lita, one to Charlotte and one to Becky. Becky sold it like a queen, no pun intended, and the actual queen sold it like a Dumbo. So Charlotte is nowhere near what she is. And to be honest, I'm not even looking forward to the WrestleMania match. Ronda's return is absolutely worthless. After that Royal Rumble match, I don't care about her anymore. That was a great pop. I jumped out of my seat for her. But now I just don't care. I can't trust Charlotte anymore with good matches. I can't trust Ronda with good storyline. What am I looking forward to then? Just maybe add Sasha Banks to that match and make it interesting, but I highly doubt they're doing anything. So pointless match, and I don't think we have much to talk about here.
Charlotte Flair is not a good seller.
I can't even see a good wrestler nowadays because she's not doing good matches. See that Naomi match, see that Becky match, see that Ripley match at Money in the Bank. You can do good matches, then why are you not doing it?
And this was your small highlight for what you could expect for Ronda versus Charlotte. And this match could be complete shit or could be really great.
I think it could be really great if Ronda Rousey cares a bit more. Right now, her promos, her in-ring work, it feels like she just doesn't care. And who's the heel, who's the face? Just make some things clear. Ronda's the baby face. She's always smiling, always meeting here and there. Her promos make no sense. Like, that's WWE. Nothing makes sense. Sonya Deville and Naomi have been feuding for the past 6 to 7 months for no reason. We don't have a reason anymore. Eventually, I think it's going to be Sonya Deville versus Naomi at WrestleMania with Deville's job as WWE official on the line, something like that.
Yeah,
But I don't know.
it took you guys 6 months to figure out that one.
Yeah, it's not such a big match that we are looking forward to it. If you did it on SmackDown, we would have cared more. I think it's not like you're building it up for 6 months because people want to see Sonya Deville in ring return. It's happened in bits and pieces now. Nobody cares anymore.
Well, let's see what happens at WrestleMania, man. I don't know.
Yeah, follow up with another shit match now.
So I think we are talking about the Raw Women's Championship match, or am I? No, 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 no. I
No, no,
act.
no. How can that be shit? That was a
Yeah, yeah,
good
yeah,
match.
yeah. I just realized. I'm talking about Drew McIntyre versus Madcap Moss, right?
Yeah, some Moss boss.
Yeah, Madcap Moss, or like I like to call him Madcap Loss. It's a big loss for me when I watch Monday
Yeah.
Night Raw every week. But this was false count anywhere, and I didn't even realize they had this stipulation. Like, I thought it was going to be a singles match, and then when I saw Baron Corbin jumping in, and I'm like, what the fuck? So it was false count anywhere. So match begins. They are fighting outside. Baron Corbin is basically assisting with a basically it's a 2-on-1 beatdown on McIntyre. They fight on the rampway. We see a double suplex on McIntyre. That didn't get the job done. So they fight back to the ring. McIntyre makes somewhat of a comeback, and also there was a big spot. I don't know. Let's get to the big spot here. That was scary enough. So McIntyre, he does his reverse Alabama slam. What happened was Madcap Moss landed square on his head, and they replayed this, and this looked very bad and very dangerous. And the main question is, how did he survive that?
Yeah, I think that was a really bad spot. And the problem was Drew actually gave it properly. The job Madcap Moss had to do was fall flat on his hand, and he twisted himself too much. So he landed straight on his head. I didn't actually watch it. You're not going to get a lot of expertise from me on this match because I literally didn't watch the match. I was talking here and there, just saw bits and pieces. So he had a really bad landing, and I saw that landing on the replay. So that was there. Drew's outfit looked great to me. I think that green stripes on his trunks looked great. And did you know
Mm-hmm.
Happy Corbin is undefeated?
Easy.
Yeah, the gimmick Happy Corbin, not Baron Corbin. Obviously, he's taken thousands of losses. But the gimmick Happy Corbin is undefeated. They said it by mistake on a SmackDown. Now it's a thing. They said it on the kickoff as well. They said it on the main show as well. And I think since Drew has nothing to do right now, the plan is going to be McIntyre versus the undefeated Happy Corbin at WrestleMania. And finally, McIntyre ends his supposed streak.
Well, even for that, I don't care. Absolutely not.
Yes, nobody does.
So let's get rid of this match, man. Nothing much going on here. That was one scary spot with Moss. He was able to recover. Good on him. And I think even Baron Corbin was making sure he was okay. So great stuff from Corbin as well. So let's get to the final spot where we see Corbin getting involved again. McIntyre got his sword and almost killed Corbin here in the process. So he had the sword in his hand, did the 3-2-1, hit a claymore on Moss with the sword in his hand, and got the win. Very forgettable match.
Yeah, nothing much to talk about. I think it's going to be McIntyre Corbin at Mania. It's shaping up to be such a bad card for WrestleMania.
Tech.
Let's just assume some stuff has happened, some stuff is going to happen. So the card is Lesnar versus Reigns. I'm just assuming right now. Lesnar versus Reigns versus Lashley, because I think Lashley is going to be added to it. Uh, Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn. Miz and Logan Paul versus the Mysterios, Stone Cold versus Kevin Owens, Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte, Becky Bianca. It's McIntyre Corbin. It's turning out to be the worst WrestleMania card ever. And they managed it at WrestleMania 37 because it was the first time that fans were coming back. Fans were popping for everything. They even cheered for Tamina, for God's sake. So they didn't care at that time that the match quality was good or not. And if you remember, WrestleMania 37 storylines absolutely sucked, except for the Universal title picture of Reigns, Edge, and Bryan. Except that, just remember Sasha and Bianca's story. There was little to nothing in that storyline. So people didn't care at that time, but now they do care. And this is honestly shaping up to be the worst WrestleMania ever. I'm just scared.
Worst WrestleMania goes to WrestleMania 9, man. That is a very huge task.
I was in the negatives at that time. I didn't watch.
We were not even existed at that point. But
Yes.
there you go. McIntyre beat Madcap Moss. WrestleMania match with Corbin. And once this is done, I think then you can add him in the Universal title picture in some way.
See, WWE is just dumb. They do stuff that should happen at SummerSlam at random pay-per-views. I'll just give you two scenarios. Cesaro versus Reigns. That happened at WrestleMania Backlash. Could have been a SummerSlam match. Remember AJ Styles versus Seth Rollins? That was a dream match for everyone, for the supposed pro wrestling fans and fans of WWE as us as well. And we expected it to be SummerSlam. But boom, out of nowhere, it said Money in the Bank. Why? Just build it for the biggest show. So I don't see. We are expecting McIntyre and Reigns to be SummerSlam. They'll just randomly put it on an Extreme Rules or a WrestleMania Backlash or something. They just don't care anymore.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's get done with this review at this point. Uh,
Yeah, we should move on to the next match because that was actually good.
we have Becky Lynch versus Lita Raw Women's Championship match, and at this point, this was a decent enough match. You could say it was a better match at this point of what the shit we have just gone through. And Lita, for her age, looked really good. And I could go and say that she was even better than Becky Lynch in this match.
You could say that. And for people saying it's decent, obviously it's your opinion. You said it's decent. You say it was good or bad. But I think I loved it a lot. Like, honestly, I thought it was great. Becky Lynch was great. Lita, for her age, I think she can do really well. And I was shocked to see they did no botches. They went through the entire match. They didn't even get tired out. So I think Lita has signed a long-term deal, and I think she's also going to be at WrestleMania. So if not, see, the dream match was Sasha versus Trish Stratus, but Trish Stratus is supposedly retired at this point. So I think Sasha versus Lita is a dream match. At this point, anyone Lita facing is a dream match because she's a legend and she's not had these matches with anyone. So Sasha versus Lita could be a great match because she can still go. So as per my opinion, as per my liking, I absolutely love this match.
I think we should get Lita versus Wendy Chu.
Wendy Chu, if she was Indian, that Chu would mean something else. So I just don't care about NXT 2.0 at this point. Please, let's just move on.
Do you know who Wendy Chu is?
Yeah, I do. Women's Orange Cassidy.
Yeah. Did you know she was Mei?
Sorry, what?
She was Mei.
Really?
Yeah.
That 2000-year-old woman?
Yeah, she was 2000 years old.
Or that was Tian Shah?
No. That was Tian Shah's group, man.
Becky Lita, please.
Okay, let's get back to Becky Lita, man. But I like that you remember that she's 2000 years old.
You've reminded me probably 10,000 times on those NXT reviews.
Yeah, you're probably getting nightmares at that point. But nonetheless, this match was, you could say, it was good for you. It was decent for me at this point. And Lita looked really good. And the best part of this match was the final moments. Like, the match really picked up, in my opinion. So, what happened was, Lita, I think it was Becky. No, it was Lita who actually hit the moonsault, but Becky had it scouted. And Becky this time was going for no. Before that, she hit the manhandle slam, and Lita got on the ropes, got the leg on the ropes.
That was a great spot.
You could say that. And Becky was getting so desperate that she decided to hit a moonsault of her own, and this was Charlotte Flair level, if you catch my drift. But she hit that and missed it completely. Lita went for her moonsault. I think before that she hit a twist of fate or a DDT, I don't know. Then hit a moonsault, got a good near fall. and from that they could really have picked up this match and went to the next level. But no, we see a quick finish when Becky Lynch hit yet another manhandle slam, got the win, and there you go. Becky retains the Raw Women's Championship, and yeah, Lita kind of got a send off, I guess, and
That was amazing.
that's basically it.
Yeah. So I loved the match. I think the manhandle slam and then getting to the rope, that was a good, decent enough spot. Then when Lita had the twist of fate and the moonsault, even though the match was highly predictable, there was a split second where everybody thought, is Lita actually winning the title? So Becky kicks off. I think, see, I've always said these kickouts, these, pinfalls, these make stars. When Becky was champion, the first title defense he had was McIntyre. And I don't think the win over McIntyre made him a star. I think kicking out of the Claymore did. I think that's what makes stars. And Becky kicking out of the Twist of Fate and the moonsault really made something out of her. Lita then sold the manhandle slam really well. She was literally flat down and out, and Becky pinned her. Lita gets a great send off, and it was basically to empower women in Saudi Arabia. So she gets a huge chant. Her theme song always pops people up. So great moment, and Lita's not done. I think she's going to have another match at WrestleMania, and this legend appearance I won't mind because she can still go. It's not like a 57-year-old Stone Cold coming out. And if Stone Cold does, I would like it to be a 10-second squash. Please don't make him wrestle. So yeah, coming back to Lita, I think this was a great match, and if she has a match at WrestleMania, maybe Bailey, because it's said that three women superstars, Asuka, Bailey, and Lacey Evans, all have recovered, and they're just waiting for the moment to return. So Bailey versus Lita, Sasha versus Lita, some of these matches could be great.
Yeah, the whole world is waiting for the most awaited return of Lacey Evans.
Nobody is, but Asuka, maybe people are excited, and Bailey, obviously everybody's excited for Bailey to return.
Yeah, let's see. Let's see. If not, we you at least have the Wendy Chu option.
Yeah, Wendy Chu versus Bianca Belair, what a match.
Yeah, put the belt on Wendy Chu. And moving on, I didn't even realize we had Usos versus Viking Raiders for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. If you have given these guys 10 minutes, then this could have been a banger match. And when I saw Viking Raiders coming out,
They did get 5 minutes. They didn't wrestle, but they did get 5 minutes.
I don't think that was even not even 5 minutes. But when I saw Viking Raiders, coming out, I was kind of excited because two great teams could have pulled off a banger of a match. Finally,
Exactly, man. Exactly. Like these two teams are so great. They could have pulled off a really amazing match. And this show had time. You had a 4 hour crown jewel. This show was really quick. This was short. You had enough time. You could have given them 20 minutes. It wouldn't have cost you anything. But they went ahead with what they wanted to. And just to say, I saw a tweet that pointed to this match. Imagine flying halfway across the globe to do this.
so what they did was Viking Raiders got jumped by the Usos before they even entered the ring, and we see Usos dumping Ivar on
Damn.
Eric, and
Yep.
that was it. The Viking Raiders are disqualified for competing in this match, and there you go. They basically flew to Saudi Arabia to uh, do this angle, and I hope
Yeah.
these four guys were paid very well.
Yeah, they were Saudi, so you have to expect this.
At least in hindsight, it is good for all four guys because they didn't even had to break sweat, and they were getting paid fortunes here.
I don't know what they're doing this for. This was really unexpected to me, actually. If they're saving it for Mania, I guess, but at Mania, it's generally tag titles don't matter anymore. They'll just randomly put New Day, Los Lotharios, Viking Raiders, Usos, Fatal 4 Way, just go wrestle. They'll just do it like that. So I don't know what they did this for. Are you protecting the Viking Raiders? Like for what? They've been losing for years now. So don't know the reason for it. Maybe you wanted to save time, which didn't look like the case. But maybe they do. 15-minute women's chamber, all of these quick matches. Maybe they wanted to end it quickly, but absolute stupid decision. Didn't have to happen. Could have been the another good wrestling match on the show. Would have improved our emotions a bit.
Maybe I think the only reason they cut off this match is I think they heard that Titus O'Neil is making a delicious pie in catering, and they decided, no, we are not going to wrestle. Other than that, they are getting paid portions. So there you
Yeah.
go. Nothing much to add. But shall
Hmm.
we get to the main event?
Yep.
This was the men's elimination chamber match for the WWE Championship. We had the champion Bobby Lashley facing Matt Riddle, AJ Styles, Seth Rollins, Austin Theory, and Brock Lesnar. So similar thing, like I just pointed out in the women's chamber, that the final entrant, there was some changing of the positions here while entering the pod. So the two guys who were starting the match were Seth Rollins and Austin Theory. And the funny thing with Austin Theory's entrance was like he was taking selfies with each and every member of the guys who were in the pod. And when he went to Matt Riddle actually posed while the rest of the guys were actually pissed. That was a really LOL moment. So good, like this match from the get go felt a little different. Like they were not slowing down, they were actually going for the big moves from the get go. Like a minute into this match, Rollins already is hitting his sling blades and all, and then we see the pods opening up. I think before the pod even open up, what happened was they're fighting outside. Rollins picked up Austin Theory for a buckle bomb, and he would power bomb Austin Theory on the pod where Bobby Lashley was located in, and eventually he broke through the pod and knocks out Lashley in the process. That was the spot, and Lashley
Hmm.
was being checked on by officials while the match was still going on. And the next entry, I think it was Riddle, if I'm not wrong. Was it Riddle or
Yeah.
Styles?
Yeah. Riddle.
So Riddle comes in, he works on Rollins for a while. Then we see AJ Styles coming in. They were trading big moves from back to back to back. And the when the time came to for the final guys, it was Lashley and Lesnar, right? So Lashley was still in this match, but he was taken out. And what happened was it was actually Lashley's time to get out, and you could see Lesnar getting pissed in his pod, and he said, "Fuck it." He breaks through the pod, and there you go. And when it comes to elimination chamber rules, staying in the pod, it doesn't imply to Brock Lesnar. He can do whatever he wants. So he breaks through the pod, gets in the ring, and as soon as he did this, you can hear on commentary Michael Cole saying that we have heard breaking news. It's that Bobby Lashley is out of this match because of concussion protocol. We'll get to that. So meanwhile, Lesnar enters the match. Instead F5 to Seth Rollins. He's gone. First
This is
elimination.
when the bullshit begins.
Yeah. And when I know when Michael Cole said Lashley's out, I'm like, I know what's happening. Of course. So
The
Lashley.
moment he said Lashley will not be there, the moment he said that, I was like, Cody, 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 Cody. I was
Ah, no,
like
no, no.
going crazy.
I know. Kenny Omega sarcastically said he's heading towards Saudi Arabia, but
I think Kenny just read the tweet and the photo that all of us did, and he just said it.
I think that was a transcript actually from his interview.
Yeah, it was fake. People were spreading it out. I was like, it is edited. It is obviously edited. Why are you getting crazy?
Yeah.
I think it's locked in that Cody's coming to WWE, and the moment he makes an entrance is going to be great. I just want to add, I hope it's against Roman Reigns because it's always the family thing, bloodline, and all of that, and then it comes wrestling as more than one royal family. So it's going to be crazy.
Man, that is a crazy situation. But speaking about crazy situation, Rollins is eliminated night like nothing, and then we was targeting the next victim that was Styles, German suplex, and F5. AJ Styles is done. Then he gets rid of Matt Riddle and F5 to him. So there you go. I think we are never getting that eventual matchup because I think Lesnar hates Riddle's guts at this point. And there you go, Riddle is gone, so we are now left with Austin Theory and Brock Lesnar. So
Can you imagine this guy was running down in NXT, doing nothing with the way and all of that stuff, being Johnny Gargano's son, to now getting this monster push on the main roster. And monster push doesn't always mean pay-per-view main events and titles and all of that. Among a match where there is AJ Styles, there is Seth Rollins, there is Matt Riddle, Austin Theory is among the last two in an elimination chamber match with Brock Lesnar. Like
hey,
Vince is really with on this guy. He really wants to push him now.
hey, do you know who the final two were in the Royal Rumble 2011? It was Alberto Del Rio and Santino Marella.
Santino Marella.
So doesn't actually make sense, but I get your drift. So it was Lesnar and Theory. Theory notices he's left with Lesnar alone. So at one point he decided to escape the chamber, but Lesnar had it scouted, and Lesnar was basically chasing Austin Theory throughout the chamber. They were running round and round and round, and even Theory decided to climb up the chamber, and Lesnar notices it, and like
And this
nothing.
monkey
No, before that, he Theory entered the chamber, and Lesnar was giving no fucks, and I almost shit my pants. And he just kicked the chamber pod and was going to get Theory, but Theory, like I said, was climbing up the chamber, and Lesnar, like nothing, climbed up this chamber, caught Austin Theory, and they landed on the top of one of the pods. So what happened next was he was bashing Austin Theory on the walls of the pod, like, and like it's basically the pod, like have a different elimination chamber for the last 4 5 years now. So after bashing Theory to the pod, what happened next was Lesnar got Theory for the F5, and he actually hit it. And there you go. Austin Theory was 25 years old. It was good knowing him. He landed dead on one of the uh, below on the chamber mat or whatever you call it. And there you go. He drags him in the ring, pins him. Brock Lesnar is your new WWE champion, and I think at this time he's a 10-time world champion.
exactly. He's a 10-time world champion. He came in, he returned at SummerSlam as an 8-time champion. The WWE title picture is just way too chaotic at this point. Since day one to now, day one pay-per-view to now, it's been 2 months, less than 2 months actually. Less than 2 months, the WWE title picture has been Biggie to Brock, Brock to Bobby, Bobby to Brock. It's just random title changes. They're giving 15-day reigns to these guys. Lashley's a two-time champion. His second reign was like 3 weeks. Lesnar's recent reign was like 2 weeks. It's just really chaotic. And talking about the match, I really didn't care. I knew what was going to be the treatment of AJ and Rollins and all of them. They just got squashed, and the Rollins, AJ, and Matt Riddle, like no respect at all for these guys. And I don't know how you are going to start AJ Styles versus Edge from this. Like, why should Edge fight AJ Styles? This guy's getting squashed by Damien Priest, then Brock Lesnar. So, didn't like anything about it, but the moment it picked up was when the last two existed, Austin Theory and Lesnar. I think there was a moment when, which you missed, was Theory hit a low blow to Lesnar. He
Ah,
then did a in-ring drop kick to Lesnar. I think that was a couple of good moments. I don't know what Lesnar had on his nose. There was a brown piece on his nose. I think that was something to protect or something, but that was when the match picked up. And good God for the crash mats that they have as the floor these days in the chamber, or in theory would have actually died on the steel floor. That F5 that Lesnar gave.
so you
And at
mean to
first, for a
tell
second,
me
I
he
thought if
actually didn't die? He survived?
yeah, he's in some local medical facility recovering from the F5.
Oh,
But Theory was actually escaping from one of the holes in the chamber. So he was escaping from it. Lesnar, like a monkey, in 3 steps he was there. He then F5'd him. I was at a moment thinking of Lesnar is going to jump for himself as well. But this guy is just freakish at the age of 44. He's doing all of this stuff. So kudos to him. Absolutely love Brock. This was not needed again, but you needed to take out Bobby some way. So there is an 80% chance of Bobby entering this match and being a title versus title. If not, this was absolutely stupid. You could have had Bobby pinned if you don't want him to be in the match, but that's it.
So, in that case, you didn't hear the reports, right? About Bobby Lashley.
That was false, obviously. This and uh, Parth said on the group, he said a monster, a beast like Lashley got taken out by one power bomb glass, and that's not even glass. So I think this was just a story to take out Lashley from the match. Maybe they didn't want Lashley to get pinned or something.
Mm,
So that's the story.
the so according to the reports, what the angle what they did was they claimed it was a concussion protocol. For a second, I kind of thought it was real, but then realized the angle actually is for Bobby Lashley to be written off TV for the next 4 months. He's missing
What?
WrestleMania, and he's injured actually, and this is a shoulder thing, and he's possibly getting surgery on that. And this injury came, I think, at the Royal Rumble. Remember when I said Lashley was almost getting killed by
Oh
Lesnar?
yeah,
Remember the
those
German
suplexes.
suplexes?
Yes.
And he was landing awkwardly on his shoulders.
Oh yes.
So that's the story.
Okay, I didn't know this. So they didn't want Lashley to wrestle at all. Yes, he hasn't wrestled since the Rumble. He's not been wrestling. He didn't even wrestle at this match. He just fell down and okay. Now I get it. Okay.
But there you go. That's why they did the thing where he was supposedly knocked out by that pot spot by Rollins and Theory, and
Hmm.
he's out. He's out of WrestleMania at this moment.
Bad for him.
But I have to say, man, even in this all chaos, Bobby Lashley is the most confused man on earth.
Oh God.
But in all seriousness, though, this sucks for him. I hope he gets well. And is missing Mania, man. One of your big guys is out of the Mania
Yes,
picture.
doesn't matter. We've got Logan Paul. We've got Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah, of
We don't
course.
care.
Of course. Of course, you have Logan Paul and Johnny Knoxville. But on that note, man, with this whole commotion, so you mean to tell me you gave Lesnar the WWE title? Now you took the title away from Biggie to give it to Lesnar so that he could drop a month later to not even a month later to Lashley at Royal Rumble to eventually get the title back on Lesnar, so that you could get to the champion versus champion situation at WrestleMania with Roman.
See, as much as I like Roman Reigns and as much as people think he's overpushed, at this point you are making people hate him now. Because at WrestleMania, if it's champion versus champion, there is a very unlikely chance that Lesnar is winning. Maybe, see, I wouldn't be unhappy if Lesnar now wins from Reigns and takes both the titles, but most probably it's going to be Roman Reigns lifting both the titles at WrestleMania.
It
And
has
that
to be
is when you
Roman.
make people pissed. Yeah, that is when you make people pissed. But again, if Roman Reigns is champion, he's going to be on Raw and SmackDown both, and then ratings will go up because obviously he's Roman Reigns. So it's not interesting. It's not worth looking forward to. It's not good. So yeah,
Hey,
doesn't matter
hey,
anymore.
I don't know what you think, but I like the champion versus champion dynamic. I think that's something different to look forward to this Roman versus Lesnar match. If it wasn't cause if it wasn't the case, then it was your usual Lesnar versus Reigns again at WrestleMania. But I like this champion versus champion dynamic. But the problem here was how they got to this point. You could have put this went the simpler way, man. If you had the plan to do champion versus champion, then you could have just simply given Lesnar the Royal Rumble. That's it. You don't have to put him like something like that, or you could have had Lesnar retain the championship against Bobby if that was the case.
You let me tell you a simpler booking. You could have had Bobby win the WWE Championship at day one, okay, and have the title till WrestleMania. On night one, Lesnar versus Lashley, dream match, WWE Championship. Lesnar wins the title. Night two, champion versus champion. Case solved. Simple.
That would have been pretty dope, but they really overcomplicated this one, man. Like I think they didn't even know what they had planned for WrestleMania.
Yeah, see, they did the WWE title win at day one for Brock because they couldn't take out Brock from the show. When Roman got COVID, at that time cases were rising for a week or two. When the Roman got COVID, they couldn't take Lesnar out because it's the first show. Lesnar is a major draw. If you take out Lesnar, then it will feel like a weekly show. And they didn't have Ronda at that time as well. Would have obviously been a good show, but WWE don't believe in giving good show. They believe in star power. They believe in the Romans, the Brocks, the Goldbergs. So that is why WWE did that, but it's extremely chaotic. And for the first time in a while, I'm not looking forward to WrestleMania.
And about this champion versus champion thing, I actually like it. Like I just said, I think this is a great
It's a different
opportunity.
dynamic, right?
Yeah, great.
It's the sixth time that Reigns and Lesnar are fighting,
Hmm.
and it's the third time at WrestleMania they're fighting. It's so bad. WrestleMania 31, 34, 38. But yeah, the champion versus champion just adds a bit of intrigue that maybe Lesnar is winning. Because see, now when you're predicting winners, you can't say he's a part timer, he won't keep the title. Lesnar is there every week now. He's a regular superstar now. So maybe he could win. He could keep the title like as usual. Maybe you could switch him in again. You can do all of that. But whatever you do, I think this adds a good dynamic to the match because again, Reigns versus Lesnar would have been boring. Yes, there is the fact that in their storyline, it's always been Reigns challenging for the title and wanting it. Now it's Reigns, the champion, Lesnar wanting it. But champion versus champion, I think it's a good decision.
Um, and I think they actually unify those two titles finally.
No, I don't think they will.
This is a short-term thing in your opinion.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the Becky treatment. I think Roman Reigns. See, if Roman Reigns wins both the titles, I think he'll drop the WWE title. He'll keep the blue Universal one because that's been more important to him. If you even see, he always disses Raw. The moment he smashed Brock with the WWE title, he threw it like this as if it doesn't matter. So I think it's going to be the Becky, the man treatment. She had both the titles but lost it in a month, lost one title in a month. So I think it's going to be the same with Roman if he wins, or maybe Brock. Because if you give Brock the titles, you can have him lose one of them because he's lost in the past. But this character of Roman losing, you know, a single title and then keeping one feels a bit weird.
We'll have to wait and see. But that was your Elimination Chamber review. And to cut little time here, what do you think the card is going to look like for WrestleMania? Just give me your quick, analysis here.
Okay. US title, I think it's going to be Priest versus Balor versus Theory. Finn Balor is planned to return before WrestleMania, so Finn Balor, Theory, and Priest. IC title, as much as I hate it, it's going to be Sammy versus Johnny Knoxville. And some people say Johnny Knoxville could not wrestle and introduce Cody Rhodes to be the contender for Zayn. Cody versus Sammy happens. Cody then brings back the old championship. That's just dream booking, but that would be great. WWE title, Universal title, you've got your booked. Women's title matches are booked. Other than that, I think AJ versus Edge could happen. I think in the McIntyre and Corbin is happening, and I'm just not able to recall any good stuff because Sasha versus Lita might happen. But other than that, I don't think it's going to be a very bright card for WrestleMania.
Yeah, there was a chance AJ could have won this chamber and got the WWE title only to face Edge and drop there.
See, AJ versus Edge is a dream match, and WWE will do that. I don't know if WrestleMania is the time or SummerSlam. They should do it, obviously, but Vince doesn't see that as a WWE title picture. Let's just recall the major title pictures. Last year, Reigns, Edge, Bryan, Roman's there, Lashley and McIntyre, big guys. WrestleMania 36, Goldberg, Braun, Lesnar, McIntyre. Before that, Kofi, Bryan, and all of those guys. They don't see proper wrestling in a world championship match. They wish it is star power and all of that. You get it?
Mhm.
So AJ versus Edge, I think would be a singles match, but I never expected it to be a title match.
And quick thoughts, man. Do you think the American Nightmare will be heading back to WWE?
I do think so. I do think Cody is coming to WWE. Couple of things there because first of all he had salary problems. He wanted payment as much as CM Punk and Bryan Danielson, but Tony couldn't agree to that. And the other was lack of creative freedom. I don't know how that could happen in AEW because it's expected that you get a lot of freedom there. Plus, he's got a baby now, so it's not unfair for him. It's good for him that he gets those cashbacks and makes his baby's future secure. Not a problem at all. But I think when he does come back to WWE now, I do not see him as Stardust. I think he would not agree to do bullshit at all. He knows he's a big star now. He's now a global, superstar. He will go for the world titles and the big feuds. And I think he would have negotiated that with Vince already. Plus, Nick Khan, the supposed chairman of WWE nowadays, because he's doing most of the things, and he's really into bringing Cody to WWE. So, looking forward to that.
And I think it's time we get the hell out of here, man. So on that note, where can these guys find you?
Okay, you guys can find me on Instagram at spandan.004. You can also find me on YouTube at Ghar Baithe BC, where the channel is a bit dead these days, but I'll be putting out new stuff.
And you can find Slamhub Wrestling on Twitter at SlamhubW, Instagram at Slamhub Wrestling. You can catch this review on Anchor and Spotify as well. This was the Elimination Chamber 2022 review, and I'll see you guys next time.